Hey, it's John Ditloff, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a vision board for yourself so you can stay focused on your goals, so you don't get distracted and let time slip by without making progress. So you don't really fall prey to vices. So, the importance of a vision board. Why is a vision board important? Well, you need something to focus on. That's kind of how you do anything in life is you focus on it and you put effort towards it. Now, why does it have to be visual? Well, you need to be able to visualize something in your mind in order to create it or achieve it or attain it in reality. And if you don't have if you're looking at this video and you've been struggling, staying disciplined or figuring out what you want to do with your life, you might have a hard time imagining or visioning something in your mind and keeping that forefront in your mind. And that's okay. I used to do that all the time. My dream used to be Jack like Clarence Kennedy, super strong, making six figures part-time while I was in college, and have enough money to buy a super sick computer so I could play the games that I like to. And once I achieved that, I enjoyed it for a while, but then I was like, oh wow, I don't really like that anymore. So this is a new beta vision for what I'm working towards now. But as I've gotten older, I realized that holding what you want at the forefront of your attention in your mind all the time, you need to be able to do that on some level. But always thinking about that all the time is actually super exhausting, and outsourcing that to an external, like a vision board, your environment, the people you hang out with, and constructing your environment, your information environment, is a much easier way to go about it. Controlling your environment is such a great tool. And what you really care about here is what I call information signaling and exposure. This is something you can use to get in shape, be better with women, to become more rich, to become more intellectual. It comes down to the information that you're exposing yourself to and what is on the top of your mind. So I'll give you an example. When I was coming up and when I was putting on 50 pounds of muscle naturally, I was watching videos of people like Clarence Kennedy, Ilya Ilyin, Dmitry Klokov, pretty much every day. And because I was thinking about it all the time and I was ingesting information about it, it was always top of mind. So I had no problem going out to do it. One of my good friends, Devin Canup, who is very wealthy, likes to look at videos of luxury houses, cars, watches, etc., and he spends a lot of time around those things, and it stays in the forefront of his attention. Everybody I know who has accomplished anything uses this at some level, whether they're conscious of it or not. The most important part is that you're focusing on it. And while you can go look at other people's content who they've made with their own intents and purposes, I think you ingest 100 different pieces of content all the time. It's much more precise and tactical to write out exactly what it is that you want and to focus on exactly that thing instead of getting a bunch of different novel stimuluses that are kind of in line with it. So instead of looking at 100 different $10 million homes, instead just look at the $10 million home that you want to own. Instead of looking at Ronnie Coleman, maybe you like looking at a bunch of different bodybuilders' physiques, but instead of looking at Ronnie Coleman's physique and Jay Cutler's, and instead just look at the one that you think you could look like and only think about that, nothing else. And then what you got to do is stay focused on the image of that, because humans are visual and emotional, and some of us are logical, and I think some people hold being more logical as a virtue, when in reality it's just you got to kind of just figure out who you are and use that to your advantage. So if you're a visual and emotional person, you got to give yourself those reasons and expose yourself to them as often as you can. So if you were bullied for being fat as a kid, well, find a picture of a physique that you'd like to look like that's lean and ripped, and write out that you really hate how that felt when other people called you that as a kid, and write out about how good it's going to feel when you look that way, or if you look that way, so that you don't get distracted by momentary pleasures and momentary fleeting highs. You got to think long term and give yourself the motivation that you need long term based off of the type of person you are. So here's mine. It's just a basic one. I have a more complete version. I need to build out a more complete version. I'm at that point. So if I want to be like a high level demigod, want to be able to heal people, solve as many problems as I can, contribute to human knowledge, and just become the greatest man that I can be in every domain of life, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in my finances, my relationships, with my sports. Yeah. So I want to be intellectual, right? What does that mean? Well, I have to be solving problems in the real world. I didn't write this out, but you want to write out what the to-do actions are that it takes to have that trait that you want, right? It's you acquire adaptations with your mind, your body, your spirit by doing things that give you those adaptations. So by doing quad extensions, well, it works your quads, and by getting stronger at that, well, you're going to acquire adaptations that make you better at quad extensions, right? By reading harder books, you're going to develop a mind that's capable of reading harder books. So in order to do that, you got to solve problems, you got to read books, and you got to write. What writing does is crystallize your information. So those are things I do every day. Not every day, but pretty much every day, right? So I want to be jacked and strong and a freak athlete like Clarence Kennedy. So I got to have protocols in place to make that happen. So I lift weights, sprint, jump, I do cardio. I eat a very, very controlled diet, and I sleep like a baby. Now, I want to be a grappler. I think grappling, something every man should get into. All the great riders of Greece were wrestlers and grapplers, and I'd say it's one of the most alpha sports there is. Now, there's some other really cool sports, but I want to be really good at grappling. So I'm doing jiu-jitsu 4 to 5 times a week. Right? I want to approach Jesus' level of like love and spiritual progress. So I stay as virtuous as I can. I practice the golden rule. I hold love in my heart. I want to be a master shaman. I want to be able to hopefully see ghosts. Well, I've already done that a few times, but daily meditation, studying, walking with spirit. This is very important. And then I want to live in a ranch in some coastal foothills. I love living in coastal areas, and I like living or being surrounded by nature and woods. So I need to have a house that is in that type of place, and I want to work in that environment. So it's going to be on my vision board, something for me to work towards. And then even the cars that I want. This isn't as important to me, but if I'm going to drive a car, I might as well like have one that I'm working towards. I think Ford Raptors are pretty much the coolest trucks there are. Very utilitarian. I've seen videos of people's Raptors like driving up sides of cliffs. I think that's so cool. Like to be able to take a camper out to go adventure in the wilderness. And a Dodge Charger would be a cool like treat as a car. I think American Muscle is a lot cooler than a lot of the zippy cars and race cars that are out there today. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I don't really care. Now, for YouTube, can I get it to 10 million subscribers? Well, I don't know. We could probably start with 1 million subscribers. But at the end of the day, I can do what I love. I can share knowledge. I can build a community, have an impact on the world, have leverage, time freedom, and also get fame and status. And we all want those things. Don't deny it. And it'll also show my progress over time, which is something I care deeply about, is how much better have I gotten, right? How much, I just want something to show that my days weren't in vain, that I've really come far. I think that's something that every man wants. So I'm going to focus on posting 1 to 3 times per week, and just focus on the growth and the impact that I can have in each and every video. Now, when I look at these things, I keep in mind the person that I want to be with these, the skills I want to have, and the life that I want to live, so that when I am tasked with doing the stuff that you have to do to get there, I am never going to listen to what I want in the moment, right? That's where people like mess up. When I put on a lot of muscle. You want to, like, in the moment, don't listen to how you feel. Don't listen to what you want in the moment. Listen to what you want in the overarching, direction of your life. And what this helps you do, if you're looking at this, and you should look at it frequently. You should look at it like 3 times a day. It should be something that you look at instead of social media, because this is what you need to be focusing on. This is how you create your life. You keep this in your attention all the time. It serves as a reminder for you to take the actions that you need to create the life that you want. Hope that makes sense. Remember, you can use this for pretty much anything in your life. And these are my goals and the things that I like. Maybe for you, it's that you want to be a chef and you want to be able to play the piano and you want to live, I don't know, in the mountains somewhere, and you really, really, really want to drive a Bugatti. I don't know. Your life is your own. And something else you need to understand is that it changes over time, right? You could have, and life works in levels just like in a video game. So if you haven't done this before, you're at level 1. You need to make a level 2 vision where you're just solving the next problem in your life. So if it's for work, that means, okay, if you're doing something you hate, the next step is going to be doing something that you don't hate. And then if you don't like doing something like working for other people, well, the next step after that is going to be doing what you like, but doing it for yourself. And then once you're doing it for yourself and you like it, well, then you start to try and figure out how to get more time and create more leverage, right? But you have to do it in order. You can't just skip steps, right? It's like, if you're 100 pounds overweight, well, instead of trying to gain weight and get a whole bunch of muscle, you got to lose a bunch of fat first. It's very hard to build muscle if you're morbidly obese. If you're 130 pounds and you're talking about wanting to go, and you're skinny fat, you're talking about wanting to go on a crazy bulk, well, maybe gain 10 to 20 pounds of muscle first, 20 pounds of muscle, and see how that goes. Don't skip steps. Go to the next level. Greet each level where you're at. I really hope that helped you. And if you want, if you have questions, you can comment them or DM me on Instagram or TikTok. And if you want to book a consultation call or you're interested in any of the products or services I offer, you can check out the link down below or DM me as well. Now, I hope you have a magnificent day. Go ahead and get Miro board and create your vision for life. I'm excited to help you. Have a good day.